Hawk does an exceptional fake Steven Seagal. Hawk's not an impersonator. In fact, most of Hawk's impersonations are pretty terrible. But his Steven Seagal, or Steven Seagal, is perfect. I mean, it was very good. So good that the people at Around the Horn and Pardon the Interruption heard a podcast of our show, and they were going to start the show today by introducing Tony Reale as Tony Reale. That's right. Tony Reale. If you don't know what we're referencing, here's what we're referencing.
I make a living in the movies, but for the past 20 years,
11825, code 6.
I've also been a cop. And along with some of the finest deputies on the force, I serve the people of Jefferson Parish, Louisiana.
Code 94G, shots fired.
My name is Steven Seagal.
All units respond.
That's right. Steven Seagal, Deputy Sheriff.
How do you feel about the fake Steven Seagal?
It's glorious.
It comes right from my soul. It's not something that I like to call an impression, because when you're Steven Seagal, that's right, Steven Seagal, it just comes out. It's right there with you.
I know, all the time. How was the show last night? You said it was magical watching it last night?
I was watching another episode last night, and Steven Seagal he is the definition of unctuous, and he's probably a good guy. Like, he's doing more for humanity, I guess, than I am, because he's a cop, but he has this weird thing that he takes on the dialect or the intonation of anyone that he's dealing with. And in last night's episode, he also played with his band live, and it was at like three weird things happen. First of all, he's busting 3 gang members. He's busting 3 gang members in Jefferson County, Louisiana Parish, whatever it is, and he's trying to find out where their mother is because they're juveniles. So he comes up and he's like, "Where Mama at?"
And he's from Michigan, right? And he's from Michigan.
Just completely unapologetic.
He's not Cajun, though. That's one of the funny things about it, correct? He is not Cajun.
He is not Cajun, and he is not a young gang member. But he goes up to them unapologetically, "Where's Mama at?" And then he starts giving them a lecture like that. "Throwing your life away. That's what's going on here. You got to hang out with the right people, the right persons." And it's weird, like it's really weird, but then he goes and visits New Orleans Children's Hospital, but he wears sunglasses. None of the kids know who he is, first of all, and then he does this big, overdrawn voiceover with, "When you visit a children's hospital, you wear sunglasses so they don't see you cry." And I'm like, "No, you jackass, you don't. You don't wear sunglasses. You look at them with your eyes."
How about the fact that he's enormous now? What's he weighing? What do you think he's weighing?
I'm pushing 3 bills.
And what's going on with your hair? It looks painted on. Your hair it doesn't look, it's so tight. It's tied so tight. Are you rocking the ponytail these days?
I'm wearing very messy, mussy hair in the back, but it's not tied up in a ponytail. That's right. Mussy.
Hawk, you're getting universal fanfare, just consensus fanfare on your Steven Seagal impersonation. Somebody writes in, you guys have to describe what Hawk looks like when he does this impression, because I've got to imagine that it's even better than the impression. Does he squint? And to me, the thing that keeps making me laugh about this impression, as great as it is, and by the way, he can't impersonate anyone else. This is a very weird development because he can't, he's no good. His impressions stink. But this one, have you heard his Joe Girardi? He stinks at impressions. But this one it's flabbergasting how good it is. And the emailer is right in that it's funnier to us in here, to me at least, because I'm staring at him and he's totally in character. He never smiles. Like, Hawk is not, he is rummaging around near Steven Seagal's soul as he does this, and he evidently thinks he's Steven Seagal because he doesn't smile, he doesn't laugh, he's just there, covered in syrupy ooze. Hawk, can I break down the mechanics of this impersonation, please, with Steven Seagal real quick?
You're so right, though. He is awful with and I'm not a guy who does any impersonations, but he is awful with every other impersonation he has ever done, and he has this down to a T.
Well, what do you think the key to the impression is, fake Steven Seagal? Is it the clipped nature of the way that he speaks?
Well, again, I'll take issue with the impression, because when I am Steven Seagal, that's right, Steven Seagal, there's no effort, there's no clipping, there's no laziness.
There is no laziness?
I'm just talking. I'm talking the way I talk to you, the way I talk to your mama.
But I think there is laziness in the impression. I think that the key to the impression is sort of the lazy way the words come out.
That's the way that the Zen do things.
Really?
That's right. The Zen.
All right. Well, that's a key. That's a key portion of the impersonation.
I do become him. I feel like, and I understand why he talks that way, because it's fun. I actually did it today. I was in the office today, and Tommy, our production director, comes up to me and he says, "Do you know where Miguel is?" And I don't know what clicked, but I became Steven Seagal, and I looked at him. I said, "I don't know where Miguel is." And he looked at me like I was crazy because he didn't hear the show yesterday. But it feels good. It just feels good.
Feels right. Feels natural.
You just talk this way, and you feel like everything you say is so much more important. Where's Mama at?
It's crazy how good that is.
Creepy,
it's
too.
just unbelievable. I mean, we got to bring Frank Caliendo on and ask him what he thinks of that impersonation, because I think it's better than anything. I think it's better than any of Caliendo's impersonation.
And if you watch the Steven Seagal Lawman, I'm telling you, you'd watch the show cringing the whole time, because mine's a put on. He's talking like that. He's very serious about it. And they do these things where they slow it down. He talks about when they're in the patrol car, and you know that the cop that's sitting next to him that's really been a cop his entire life. Steven Seagal's sitting there being interviewed, and he's like, when we're driving down the street, I'm looking for things that the normal person wouldn't see. A hand in a pocket, an awkward glance to the side, fiddling with your fingers. And he believes that he can see things. But what they do on the show is, when he says, I'm looking for things, a hand in the pocket, the show goes blam, blam, and it focuses in on some young kid with a hand in his pocket, like Steven Seagal has seen something that no one else does.
Right.
And then he gives orders out to the other cops. It'll be like, he sees someone, he goes, I think I just saw someone drop something on the ground, put the lights on. Like, he doesn't even talk to anyone normal. It's always this really unctuous, over-dramatic tone, but when you do it in real life, it's fun.
How about police terminology, code? Police code. Does he talk in, do you think the other deputies and the other sheriffs or whatever they are hate him?
Oh, without question, because he's talking to them in code all the time. He's like, we got a couple of 107s with a 95 going on. Let's check it out. Instead of just saying, hey, I think we got a couple guys with a sawed-off shotgun in the. We got a couple of 107s, and they got themselves a 95.
Now, I watched the show, too. I don't get that vibe, though. I don't get the vibe that the other cops hate him. I think the other cops like him and embrace him.
Oh, they are tolerating his insanity, and they all call him boss and Sarge. Like, apparently he's a sergeant somehow. Oh, he's just so... I watched the show cringing. I'm like this in my bed. I've got my hands up by my face, and I've got a weird look, because he's so unapologetic with his drama.